Hey, how about you, everybody? Welcome into the Wednesday episode of Inside the 20 with myself and Keith Niebuhr. We will do our best to get as much recruiting intel to you within inside the 20-minute mark. We'll do our best. Keith, how you doing this morning, big dog?
I'm good, brother. What's going on, man?
Oh, believe it or not, some things are going on.
Yeah.
And we always write about it first at Auburn Live on 3. If you're not a member of that site, now is a perfect opportunity. 1 week free, kind of a trial basis, but you probably won't need it. But at the end of that, you get 50% off, man. Absolutely would welcome new subscribers to the Auburn Live on 3 family. Also, if you're watching on our YouTube channel, Auburn Live on 3, please like and subscribe. Hit that notification button. Get notified every time a video is uploaded. Before we get started, Keith, how about you to Caleb Schofield from Mike Patton Auto there in LaGrange, Georgia. Big fan, big sponsor of the show. We appreciate him. We appreciate his support. We asked our listeners to give him, if you're in the market for a new car, new truck, new Jeep, new Bronco, Keith might even say, give Caleb Schofield a call, 334-531-0996 there at Mike Patton Auto on Lafayette Parkway in LaGrange, Georgia. Sells new Ford, Lincoln, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and even Hondas. Love me some Honda cars. All used cars have to pass a multi-point inspection before they even think about selling them. And then they back all the used cars with a free 3-month, 3,000-mile warranty. Huge. Plus, the new vehicles are even better. The new vehicles come with a lifetime powertrain warranty, unlimited time, unlimited mileage. And hell, if you're not even in the market to buy a car and you know somebody who is, send them to Caleb. He'll give you $300 bills. Can't beat it, man. Give Caleb a call there, 334-531-0996. All right, Keith, we're in the middle of the season. We have turned the halfway point. Auburn has 10 commitments in the 2023 class, but we feel like that number could be growing soon. We put up another War Room Plus Wednesday morning on Auburn Live on 3. It has some really good intel, some 2 offensive line intel. The 2 most important positions in this class, offensive lineman and the edge on defense. And Auburn looks to be gaining some momentum at both of those positions. We talk about Clay Whedon on Monday, potentially decommitting from Michigan State. He did later that evening, and a decision for him could be coming soon. To me, Keith, and I think I wrote in the War Room Plus today, it's always been Michigan State or Auburn for him, and if Michigan State is out of the picture, presumably it is now that he's decommitted, you got to think Auburn's in a good spot for him.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy that always loved Auburn, always liked visiting Auburn, loves the culture. He's an outdoorsman, so that means you guys may be out there fishing and hunting together at some point. And obviously you'll be needling him for Scoop if that happens, I hope.
Me, him, and Jeff Berger. I don't know if you remember Jeff Berger.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah. Are you buddies with Jeff Berger?
No, but I think he got in trouble for going on a hunt when he was in college. I have to look that up. I'm sure some of the OG Auburn fans can tell me, but Jeff Berger, who was my favorite quarterback growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he got in trouble for going on a hunt or something. A paid hunt, back then you couldn't do that stuff.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so he's down in Tampa, which is where I'm at. But he loves Auburn and Michigan State. And this kid is first class. Let's just be honest. We both talked it so many times. Man, people are going to be like, "Oh, come on, you guys say that about every kid." No, we don't.
No, there's actually a few in this class that we don't really care for.
Yeah, if we're saying it over and over again, there's probably some to it. Now, you hope he lives up to what we say about him, and I think he will. He's
absolutely.
He's first class. But anyway, point being, he has said nothing but nice things, nothing but great things about Michigan State. But at the end of the day, it's not in the SEC. He likes the SEC. It's not close to home. I think what he figured out was this fall, and he officially visited Michigan State, I want to say in June, getting up there during the season is hard. Okay, now obviously if he's playing there, it wouldn't be that hard because he'd be living in East Lansing, Michigan. But what about your family in Tampa? It's a real financial investment. And that's one of the reasons why most schools try to recruit within their footprint in the Southeast, Jeffrey, because financial stuff has to be taken into consideration, and it's just easier to get to Auburn. So it's not like it's Auburn by default. That's just one of the benefits that Auburn has, when he's looking at the recruitment. So it looks good for Auburn right now. Look, they got a huge need for him. They're going to be dipping into 3 different pots. We know this: high school, 4 or 5 guys, JUCO, which I'll talk about in a little bit, and then the transfer portal market. And I think he's probably a guy that's going to need 2 or 3 years of seasoning before he's ready to really make his mark at the next stop.
And knows that.
What's that?
And he knows that.
Yeah, most smart offensive linemen.
Right.
Like, he's not just a nice young guy; he's a very smart guy, and he's taken a real pragmatic. I hope I'm getting the word right because I'm not that smart. A real pragmatic approach with this. He's saying, "Hey, listen, man. Yeah, they have a big need, but I'm comfortable there, and I know that I'll be ready at some point, but maybe not right away." And now there's always that guy that gets there and is a lot more ready than he thought and anybody else thought. And there are surprises. There's no question about it. But yeah, I think he just loves, I mean, you've talked to him more than I have, but from what I can tell, there's nothing about Auburn he doesn't like.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, literally, Auburn checks every single box for him. And as we've come to learn, talking to our various sources, he checks a lot of boxes for Auburn too now. So it seems like, logically, Jeffrey, reading all the tea leaves, that he's going to end up at Auburn. I mean, you're the first one that really put your neck out on the limb and suggested that. You were the first one the other day that called out, the possibility of him decommitting, and he did. And you love Auburn's chances, and so do I. It just feels right, and it's a good, solid, strong pickup if it happens.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not the analysis like Cole or Jay Head, but from talking to sources who know a lot more about it than I do, he's a kid that could project at right tackle. He could also end up at guard. I mean, that's the kind of guys Auburn needs right now, versatile guys who could play inside or outside. He's all about getting better. He is. You're not going to have to motivate him. You're not going to have to excuse me. You're not going to have to worry about whether or not he's going to be late to a workout or whether he's not going to be the last guy standing there. He's the type of guy Auburn has. He's kind of a 1980s Auburn lineman. And,
and Jeffrey. Okay, I'm sorry.
And that's what you want. That's what you need.
Well, and I moved to Tampa right around 1st of July, and Auburn may be on the verge of landing its second offensive lineman from this area since I got here.
The bag man has been revealed.
Exactly. We need to get the message back to Auburn. If they're looking for any linemen down near South Beach, I'm willing to go.
Yeah, right.
I'm willing to sacrifice my quality of life to maybe go live at Miami Beach for a while, or wherever.
Right.
No, well, but it's a look. I mean, you got your Norris Wilson on board, a swing guy, like you said. They really like him, and he's a guy. I think he's a guy that's Norris Wilson's having a great year, and I think right now he's the lowest rated of Auburn's 10 commitments. He's going to move up. I feel confident in saying that. Now, how high is he going to be? A 4-star? I don't know. But Auburn's had a lot of good luck with high 3-star guys on the offensive line.
The most luck,
historically. And so, I like Clay Whedon. He's got a lot of potential. He's going to get up there and work hard. Okay. I don't think there's any question about that. Wherever he goes, and we think it's going to be Auburn, he's going to get in there and he's going to work hard. And look, it's going to be a big adjustment. The school he's at right now is not a huge school. So he's going to be going up against guys bigger, stronger, faster. He knows that he's going to need an adjustment period, but everybody does. And the guy's huge. He's like 6'6", 6'7", still growing into his body. That's why offensive linemen need a little bit of an acclimation period. They need it more than other positions because these are big kids growing into their bodies, getting used to being giant kids, working on their footwork, foot speed, all that stuff. It all works together. So, but he's got a lot of potential, and I think Auburn's going to be glad if it can land him for sure. I'm stating the obvious there.
Absolutely. And speaking of Miami, I don't think it's South Beach. My geography down there is not as great, but Miami Central. Reuben Bain, 4-star edge there, visited for LSU. Keith, been hearing a lot of buzz about Auburn since he left that visit, and very, very positive behind the scenes. He is relaying strong messages to Auburn to the point where I didn't have any choice but to bump him up to 75% on my hot board. Am I close to putting in a pick for him? I am close. I'm close.
That's a pretty high percentage, man.
It's very. it's for me. It's very high. It really is. I try to be conservative.
Yeah, and there's one source that you and I have that has knowledge of this information, and you're probably a little more tied in with that person than I am. But we both talked to this one person, and they're that's the vibe we're getting. And then also you have other people you talk to, and I have other people that talk to that are different people. So I've got some Florida people. You've got, we're talking to different people. This isn't coming from one
Right.
mouth. Okay.
Right.
And in fact, one of the people I talked to that's a very tight end in South Florida said they thought that Auburn might get Bain regardless of who the head coach was.
I believe that. I believe that.
That he just loves Auburn. That, all those Miami kids that visited for the LSU game, they were really taken aback by the atmosphere and the energy in Auburn. And again, that's why Auburn has to work hard down there, because a lot of those kids, they're ready to leave, man. I mean,
right.
I was hanging out with Adrian Passe, Auburn's 4-star 2024 quarterback, and his father last week down in Hialeah, which is the town just northwest of Miami. And that's kind of that's what they said. A lot of kids, they're ready to leave. I mean, not everybody, first of all, even if Miami was going 12-0 every year, not every kid would want to go there. There's always going to be kids that want to leave. And between Miami and Fort Lauderdale and Palm Beach counties, you've got, 4 million, 5 million, 4.5, 5 million people, a lot of prospects. And there's enough to go around. So why shouldn't Auburn be down there busting its ass to get guys? It makes sense. And historically, Auburn's got such a good track record down there. Even recently, Sean Shivers, Anthony Schwartz. Now, obviously, Elijah Canyon didn't materialize, didn't really pan out at Auburn, or he left before he could. But Auburn's still, it's not like Auburn's been ignoring that area. But the Auburn's got a good name down there. In fact,
is that Rock Bellantoni?
What's that?
Is that his area?
It is. It is. And he coached at FIU. That's Auburn's edge coach, for those that don't know. He once coached at, not FIU, Florida Atlantic.
AU.
Yeah, FAU. And so he's been plugged in down there for years. In fact, earlier this year, Jeffrey, I covered one of those Under Armour camps down in North Miami. And, there weren't really a lot of Auburn targets there, but I was going just to see what was up. And some of the prominent media people there and high school coaches, and I don't know everybody down there. Please, I don't know nearly as many people down there as I knew 5 years ago. But every one of them said the same thing. And they brought it up. Hey, we love Rock Bellantoni. I wasn't asking them. They brought it up. And so Rock has some real credibility down there. And so you've got that combination of a guy that understands the dynamic down there, Rock Bellantoni, knows all the coaches down there, knows all the other people you need to know down there, 7-on-7 coaches, people that just know there's always in towns just guys that know, were women, but they just know everybody. And he knows those people. And then you have the fact that they went to Auburn and loved it. And you combine all these things, and it's like, well, why shouldn't Auburn do well down there? Why not? There's plenty of talent to go around there. And historically, Jeffrey, you know this, a lot of South Florida kids have that dog in them. That fight,
man, yeah.
That hunger. Man, so you add up all these things, and you've got some real opportunities down there. But back to Ruben Bain, you're right. He just seems to love Auburn, man. And his high school coach, Roland Smith at Miami Central, went to the University of Miami to work on their staff, but he's not a coach, so they've got these rules that a kid can't follow an off-the-field staffer. And now they may change that rule, and I think that's what Miami's hoping. But right now, I believe that's still the rule, and that's to Auburn's advantage too, we think. We're trying to get our arms around this whole recruitment. I
think it's the most important thing you said, Keith, and it pertains to Clay Whedon both and Ruben Bain, is they both love Auburn, and it's not like they're locked into a specific coach or coaching staff, but I think that's very important.
Both of those like these coaches?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I have no doubt about it, dude. Listen, I'm not trying to take any credit away from anybody, because these coaches have worked very hard on both of these guys, and multiple coaches. So very important, but a lot of the questions we get when we post some momentum for Auburn in recruiting is, whoa, what's going to happen if there's a coaching change? Well, these two guys, I feel like, really love Auburn. They love the atmosphere of the campus. They love everything about it, and I still would have a hard time not including them in a class mock if I were to do one. And
Jeffrey, go ahead.
I was going to say another guy that I would probably include, and this is all you right here, Keith, is Keyshawn Blackstock.
Yeah. Well, if I could backtrack for 1 second, I cut everybody off because I've got this 8-year-old ADD in me. But, another guy that you and I and Cole Pinkston and other people we work with here that just loves Auburn. Now, this doesn't mean he's going to end up there, but he has told people we know, credible people, that Auburn's different. And that's 5-star edge Quay Russaw.
Oh.
So, who knows, right? Now, Keyshawn Blackstock is the number 5 junior college recruit in the country. He's at Coffeyville Community College, but he's from Covington, Georgia, attended Newton High School. I'm going to have a lot more on him later today, but he's a guy that didn't even play high school football until his junior year. He had some real medical issues as a child. They didn't know whether he was going to live at various points.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and we've got some really fascinating stuff coming up. Comes from a family that loves Auburn. Here's another note. His dad, great guy, spent a lot of time talking to him the last couple of days, once helped build the dorms as a construction guy on Donahue that the football players live in. Okay?
Get out.
And during that time, he got to know the players. This was 10 years ago. One of the guys he got to know, Gabe Wright. One of his best friends today, Gabe Wright. One of Keyshawn Blackstock's mentors, that's this guy's son, Gabe Wright. So there's a lot of connections there. There's a lot of reasons that this kid and his family love Auburn, okay? Now Auburn's got to still recruit him, and they are, and interest in him is picking up. He's picking up new offers every week. We hear more big schools are involved. He's heard from Alabama. They got a call from Lane Kiffin 2 days ago. So things are really heating up. But all things equal, you got to like Auburn's chances. I think it's just going to be, he hasn't really met the coaches yet, Jeffrey. So he kind of wants to meet them. He loves them, but he wants to meet them. And something to keep an eye on. Auburn's got an open week next week, off week. So the coaches will probably be out on the road most of the week recruiting. And I haven't got it confirmed from anybody yet, but that potentially could be when Auburn says, all right, let's go up to Coffeyville Community College and meet this guy. But they like him a lot. They've got a good relationship with Brian Harsin, great relationship, in fact. They've been talking a lot to the GM, Drew Fabianitz. They really like him. Some communication also with Will Friend. They like him. They love the coaching staff. There's no doubt about it. Now, if something happened with that coaching staff, would they still consider Auburn? I think so. Actually, I'm pretty sure they would. But he's got a lot of schools after him. He's got a lot to think about. But there's a lot of reasons to think that Auburn's going to be in this at the end and has a good chance of landing him.
Yeah, and I don't know the situations at other schools, but I know the situation at Auburn. And that situation is, regardless of who's the coach, I know what the roster is, and I know that the depth chart will be absolutely advantageous for Auburn looking for a junior college tackle who's looking to come in and play immediately. You got to think Blackstock would come in at Auburn and at least be top 2. I mean, he'd have to be really bad not to claim one of those starting spots. Now, I don't know who they're going to get from the portal. I don't know who else they're going to get from the junior college ranks. But as of right now, you got to think a kid like that, and he is an impressive guy. And I've just seen him in pictures. Impressive guy coming in and being able. I guess my point is, regardless of who is leading this charge, the roster is going to look good for Auburn with a JUCO guy, with a transfer guy.
Yeah, you know what his dad told me, Jeff? His dad said that the plan may even be to take up to 4 or 5 JUCO linemen and 4 or 5 portal linemen.
I'm telling you, they're not going to take as many high school guys as we initially thought, or at least as I initially thought.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man.
Hell, think about Keith.
It's going to be wild.
Think about what Fabianich said on this show 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
there's a void on the depth chart on the roster of junior class offensive linemen.
Yeah,
and you can't fill that with high school guys. You're going to have to fill that with junior college and transfer portals.
Well, we've been saying it. You and I have been saying this since before Drew Fabianich, Auburn's GM and director scouting, confirmed it. We knew they were going to have to recruit out of 3 pots, and it was going to have to be pretty even between the 3.
Right.
Because you've got to build. First of all, you have to have a team. You're building a team next year, but you also have to build a program, which is long term. And so they've got to do all this stuff. But yeah, I like their chances with Blackstock, and he's going to make the best decision for him. And maybe that I think ultimately that's probably going to lead him to Auburn. But if it doesn't, he'll be fine, wherever.
Sure.
But if he does land at Auburn, given they consider Auburn family, okay, because of all the people they know Brad Lester, Brandon Jacobs, Jarris McIntyre, our good buddy down in Tampa. They're buddies with him. They know everybody.
Wow.
Dad made a good point. He said, you know what? If he goes to Auburn, he loves Auburn so much. Now, again, at the end of the day, you still got to do what's best for you. Sometimes you have to separate your heart with the business decision part, right? But if he ends up at Auburn, his dad said, not only are they going to be getting a good player, but they're going to be getting somebody that will fight tooth and nail for Auburn because they love Auburn. Isn't that one of the concerns on the board a lot? People always say, I want guys that love Auburn. Well, in this kid, you'd get a guy that would be both, ultra talented and has that Auburn blood running through his veins. So let's see if Auburn can finish the deal here.
Good stuff, Keith. Got a lot of coming. Look for more from Keith on Blackstock today at Auburn Live on 3. Again, if you're not a subscriber to that site, it's a perfect opportunity. 50% off sale going on right now. Take advantage of that. And again, please like and subscribe to our YouTube page. Keith got a lot of things coming up this week. Auburn will travel to Ole Miss for an 11 a.m. kickoff on Saturday. The Auburn Live on 3 crew will be back on Thursday for a modcast. We'll be back on Friday for some more recruiting intel, as well as looking ahead to the game. Appreciate everybody listening. Appreciate everybody subscribing. Appreciate Zach in the back, Keith Niebuhr. I'm Jeffrey Lee. Y'all stay out of the left lane. See ya.